All right, most people dream of just growing all of their own food, and I completely respect that dream. And if that's your dream, then let's achieve it. So what we're gonna do is we're beginning the process of trying to figure out how we can get a year's worth of food out of our garden. So we're gonna start, this is day one, minute one of this process, and this will be an ongoing theme for the next few months because this is not an easy subject to crack. So we're gonna kind of go down this path together. We just had a little tiny tropical system came by and gave us a couple inches of rain, which we desperately needed. So everything, it just stopped raining, so I came out to record the video. Hopefully everything will accept the rain and be off and growing. Where do we start on this process? This is a big undertaking. It doesn't matter if you're just getting started or you've been doing this for a while. You want to grow, you want to get more. Where do we start with that? So we're going to take small incremental steps to produce this, right? I'm not sitting here saying that over the next year you're going to meet this goal completely, but what we're going to do is we are going to give each other the tools to get farther and farther and closer to this goal. And the first step, I think, is 10%. 10%. What does that mean? Well, 10% means grow 10% more. But there's a caveat here. And so with different techniques, growing 10% more looks like a few different things, right? At the face value of it, what you hear is plant 10% more. But in reality, I'm saying something completely different. So what we want to focus on is our 10%. So 10% out of 3 seasons of gardening, which on average, everybody should be growing a 3-season garden if they want to meet this goal. Out of 3 seasons, that's 30% more food you're going to get in the first year. But we've got to meet that goal. So what is that goal? And there's going to be a little bit of repetition from what we've been talking about recently, but just hang with me. I'm looking at this right here, these rutabagas, and the one thing that I didn't do that I said I was going to do is I was going to come out here and I was going to thin them. And guess what I did not do? I did not thin them. So we are, at this point, we're just going to let them grow and see what happens. But I guarantee you we will not get the roots that we wanted from that. So let's just say for grins and giggles, we've got 20 rutabagas planted right here. I have no idea what we planted anymore. But let's say we did. Out of that, we're only going to get a handful of those crops that are to the size that we want to harvest. Now, with all that being said, imagine if instead of planting, so I'm looking at it now, and I haven't gone super deep and it's still a little bit early, but if we've got 20 plants here, we may get 5 or 10 with the appropriate size that we want. And even then it's going to be a little bit compromised. So if you look at that, and just in this crop alone, if we had come out here and I'd done what I said I was going to do, which I don't know why I didn't, but whatever, and thin them, then we would be at 10, we would double our rutabaga harvest that we're actually going to get. So you can see this is the first step that we're going to take. So go out into your gardens, look and see what you've got growing, how it's turning out, and say, like, what can I do different? What can I change? You know, let's say that you don't treat at all. As I go through this list, just let me know in the comments below what you like and what you think you may add to your garden for next year to help meet this 10% goal. Don't grow certain crops because the pests just tear them up. Well, treat for it. Find a way to treat for it. I gotta be honest. If you do it appropriately, it ain't gonna kill you, okay? You get more toxins walking around breathing car fumes and stuff like that than you are by strategically treating your crops. So instead of letting the pest take your crop from you, put that effort in and treat for that pest, and you're gonna instantly get that 10% is gonna be way out of proportion. You're gonna be way past that 10%, right? So these are the easy things to do. What else can we do? right? I mean, we've just treated these, and actually, let's do a spot check. I haven't been out here in a couple of days because of the rain. See if we see any pest on these Brussels sprouts, and I'm not seeing anything. Obviously, I'm not going leaf by leaf, but a lot of times you'll see a lot of new damage. I see a lot of new leaves coming up like this with no damage. So it looks like we're on top of the pest, but once all of this rain dries off of it, we're gonna give it one more treatment to wipe out all the eggs on there. And that should be all we have to do. We're not consistently treating, but we're treating when we have to, and that makes a big difference. What else can we do to get that 10%? Give it 10% more fertilizer. Feed your garden, feed the plants, give them what they want to grow. They need more nutrition out of them, so give them what they want. I'm a firm believer in the fact that as gardeners as a whole, we underwater and underfeed our garden for two things. One, we don't understand the watering, and I'm right there with you. The only reason why I think I have it is just because I water the crap out of my crops. But other than that, and the feeding, I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm not here to debate that. Y'all can have that debate all you want down in the comments below. Don't direct it at me because I don't care. I know that once I up my fertilization, my goal of hitting 80% of the needs for my family was met almost instantly, because all of the plants that we were struggling to get, we got more out of, we got bigger, we were able to do more with. So it made a huge, huge difference. When I say fertilizer, I mean fertilizer. I don't mean compost. I mean actual fertilizer. Go put the money on the counter, buy you a $10 bag of fertilizer and use it for a season and see what it makes. See how it does for you and if you like it. Make all the difference in the world. So you just do those couple things, but before you say, well, that's all we can do, no, there's so much more than that. Just to hit this 10%, this easy little number of 10%, there's so much more we can do. Have you even looked at your timing for your planting? Yeah, I know, it's been a while since we talked about that, right? Not really, that was a bit of sarcasm in case you didn't pick up on it. So instead of complaining about how much bolted and how much didn't grow, your timing is going to take that 10% and has the potential to put you up to 80% more of your harvest. How do you figure? That's a huge number, right? That's a bold claim. Okay, well, let's think about that. All right, we've got, let's say our top bolting crops. What are they? They are lettuce, broccoli, and what else can we have in here? Turnips and rutabagas, anything that you plant in the cool season, even cabbage can be, kale, collards, all of these things. If you plant them at the appropriate time, which, newsflash, if you haven't been following me for a while, then you don't understand that most people are planting way too late. You are missing out on a huge portion of your harvest, meaning I went from getting a 20% harvest from my broccoli to 100% in one season just by changing my timing alone. Then I took my timing and I said, okay, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna feed it more, and I went 100% more total. You know, there wasn't an extra 100%, that's not really possible. So I got 100% harvest, but then I got 100% bigger harvest out of that, and that's what we want, right? And that's all because of the timing and the fertilizing, and you put this stuff together, and once you start doing this, your 10% is just going to be out of control, and you're going to start to see more and more and more. There's no reason why you should have crops that are bolting in your garden without you getting a harvest from them. Not an accident that things bolt. I used to think it was just part of it and it kind of sucked and I just went on with my business. But once I started getting things in the ground earlier, I realized that like I was wasting everything. I was planting, you know, 30, 40 lettuces just to let half of them go to bolt. But when I started doing them at the appropriate time, with the appropriate amounts of fertilizer, with the appropriate amounts of water, and the appropriate spacing, all of a sudden everything went away. I got so much more. I use this for a good example. I planted this lettuce this year, was a variable year. It was cooler this year. So we planted it earlier, but we are able to grow it through the season, and I've got one plant bolting, and it is not past the point where we can't eat it. It's not a big deal. So you're going to have some, especially in your fall season, because it's a more difficult time to start growing, but you're not wasting anything when you do it earlier, right? You just got to be smart about it. And that's what this channel is all about. I am huge on timing. I think a lot of people miss the timing. And once we get that down, you're just going to expand more and more and more. And so with that timing comes another thing out of there too. I'm giving you a lot this video. I'm putting it all out there. And this is the setting the basis for us. And we're going to break down some of these in more detail in the future. But another thing that we need to do, and this goes with timing, is rotating your crops out. And what I don't mean crop rotation. What I mean is what's going in this bed after the broccoli. What's going in this bed after that? How long do I leave this in here? How long do I leave that in here? Can I put anything else after that lettuce comes out? What about those peppers? What can we do it? This whole garden is all fall, except for fall tomatoes, which are sucking this year, Seminole pumpkin, which we're letting finish up, and a couple pepper plants. Everything else is cool season, and we rotated everything out at the appropriate times. We did not leave any harvest on the table. We got all the harvest we could, and we were able to get a whole second garden's harvest out of there, a whole second season out of it. So we plant. And just for instance, in case you're new and you don't understand, next year, let's see, we'll go over to this bed over here. If I'm not mistaken, this bed is rutabagas and parsnips now. It'll be harvested, it will rest, then it will have potatoes in it, and then it will have a cover crop in it, and then it will have Brussels sprouts in it. This bed has lettuce and bok choy in it and a couple peppers. But once that's done, then we're gonna put radishes and rutabagas in there. And then after that, we're gonna put corn in there. Then after that, we're probably going to put our fall potatoes in there. And so you can see that's a full year's rotation for this bed. And that's what we want, because we're maximizing everything we can get out of this bed. You don't build yourself a schedule. I did a video a while back about my my plant groupings that I like to do, and it makes a big difference in how you plant. You know, because once I get my groupings together, I know like what's coming in. You know, you got 4 seasons, 3 seasons. We have A, B, C, and then in the middle we'll have, you know, our D, which would be like a cover crop or something. And so we have each one of those groups together. So as the garden rotates, those groupings will rotate together, and it makes it a lot easier for us. So you just got to get it right. And I mean, this is an easy way to absolutely hit 10% more without adding anything else to your garden, without doing anything else, without spending a lot of money, saving extra. Only thing that I mentioned here that's going to cost you more money is a bag of fertilizer. And you're going to get your money's worth out of that bag of fertilizer too. So let's say you don't want to do the fertilizer and you're scared of it. Then don't do, and treating. We all need to be treating for pests. It breaks my heart when I see people comment that they are just getting torn up by pests and there's nothing they can do. There's always something you can do. You just got to be vigilant. And remember, each step we take is going to get you closer and closer to this goal that we've created for ourselves.